I grew up in New Jersey. It was not a good place for me. But as John Denver says, sort of, I was born in the summer of my 54th year and moved the whole Move clan to the Rocky Mountains. And I am at peace. But in my formative years, I was one of those cliche teenagers, at least in the Garden State, who would rely on a complicated chain of dubious sources to determine, with pretty good accuracy, as it turns out, at which dive bar our favorite musician, a then nationally unknown Bruce Springsteen, would appear. Bruce and I were not friends, but I met him, saw him interacting with the people he would hang around with. As far as I could tell, he seemed like a pretty normal kind of a guy. There's a lot of animosity at the moment, most of it deserved, toward the uber rich and uber famous, and of more interest to me, a plethora of conspiracy theories about a diabolical cabal of powerful individuals who are controlling the world behind a shield of wealth, power, and privilege. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I could be wrong about this, but I've had the pleasure and sometimes the misfortune of meeting some individuals who could probably qualify for this cabal. And I am highly doubtful about the existence of such a cabal for one primary reason. They just aren't that smart. When I hear these theories, I recall my days as an employee of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Now, don't judge me. Thomas Sowell once worked for the Department of Labor, after all. But I spent a good amount of time with a certain high-ranking EPA official, and we would frequently be the target of various theories and even threats, to the point of once being followed around by a group of federal marshals to be sure we would reach our destination free of what one wit at the time described as acute lead poisoning. Ha ha. Anyway, when this official would hear of some of the more creative schemes we were being accused of, he would have two main reactions. First reaction, I can't believe they would think we would do that. And then the second one, even if we wanted to, don't they know there's absolutely no way we could pull it off? If a lack of intellectual capacity is prevalent among today's captains of industry and government, it is absolutely dominant in the entertainment industry. Take Mr. Springsteen as an example. Upon visiting his home, it's reported by an acquaintance that he observed a young Mr. Springsteen's weekly pay in cash scattered on the floor, where it would be emptied from his pockets upon entering and picked up again when the need arose. I guess this is fine when you're dealing with a quirky, eccentric artist, but do you honestly want to take political advice from this person? As in many things, political, I blame, to a very large degree, the ignorance of the American public. If you're going to give people who are basically children running around playing dress up a platform from which to deliver their incoherent ramblings, a lot of them are going to take it. They simply don't know any better. And unlike you, wise subscriber, they live in a state of constant cognitive dissonance. So lecturing us on the evils of wealth while making and spending millions seems perfectly consistent to them. And just to be honest and clear about this, I have the same level of emotional animosity toward these people as you do, maybe more. Now, there are a few who have the standing and the intelligence and the moral fiber to rebel against the woke tsunami. But they are few. And whether or not they get to continue their careers after having spoken some sane words seems to depend almost entirely on what color they are. That's how far gone they are. So, listen to Eric July. The only way to affect real change is to stop going to their movies and their concerts and stop buying their, as the youngsters call it, stop buying their merch. The list of celebrities who have gone over the woke cliff is much too long to mention here. So I'm just going to mention one more. The star of one of my favorite TV series, 24, Kiefer Sutherland, when asked about his political leanings, had the following words of wisdom. I believe inherently that we have a responsibility to take care of each other. So when you talk about socialized health care, absolutely, that's a no-brainer. Free universities? Absolutely, that's a no-brainer. It is indeed, Kiefer. It is indeed. So when you ask yourself, what happened to Bruce Springsteen? What happened to Kiefer Sutherland? And what happened to all the rest of the celebrities spouting this socialist nonsense while living like consummate capitalists? The sad truth is, we did.